Man, so the word on the street is that, well, we know this is to be true, that the Pistons number one priority is to this offseason was not to get Cade Cunningham help, because if that was the case, if that was the true case to get Cade Cunningham help, they would have went to go do it. Their number one priority was Jalen Duren and then getting a SAR contract done. Now, you may be like, okay, do you notice this is the same thing that the Lions are doing? They're not, you get close to, being to the championship or having a championship full field with a good record, but you don't want to spend the money to get them over the hump. And they say, well, we don't want to give up our assets. We like our guys. It's the cheap way. It's the cheap way. They're being cheap. They don't want to go for it. And the one time the Pistons went for it, they won a championship. I'm pretty sure when the Wings added Chelios, did they traded for Chelios or was he a free agent? They went for a championship. They just, somebody brought up, well, maybe the NBA ain't allowing the Pistons to do it. That could be something. But check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And it seemed like their second priority was to sign Asar Thompson. And that's a sign of a cheap team. You know what I'm saying? Because the Rams don't give a fuck. They like Jared Verse, got rid of him, got Myles Garrett, got Trent McDuffie. They went for it with Devontae Adams. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they kept guys like Puka Nacua around, but when they went for it, they went for it. And the Pistons don't want to go for it. The cheap way is to say, you know what? We already top in attendance. We really don't care about a championship. We just want to turn a profit and get them hope. And it's always ends up being the cheap route, whether it's the Lions saying we going to try to, refurbish Marcus Davenport, DJ Wanham, this Peyton Turner guy, or whether it's the Pistons talking about, we going to get DeMar DeRozan 10 years too late. It's all the same stuff, bro. And obviously the priority is Jalen Duren because they didn't want to pay nobody. They could have easily shipped Jalen Duren the fuck up out of here and got Jaylen Brown. And that would have shown, and they could have found someone to replace Jaylen Brown. That wouldn't have been hard. To replace Jalen Duren. They don't really want to go for it, y'all. So they hide behind, we going to make big moves. Their definition of big moves is always some low tier, trading for Tracy or getting Tracy McGrady at the end of his career, getting Allen Iverson at the end of his career. It's always some low level, washed up, getting Dwight Freeney on the Lions at the end of his career. It's always some washed up shit. That's why their priority was Jalen Duren. It ain't because they give a fuck about Jalen Duren. It ain't because they need Jalen Duren. They believe he gonna be this superstar. If they believe he'd be a superstar, they give him the 50 ball. The whole thing about it is cheap. They are a cheap franchise, bro. They're cheap. How's your priority is to sign this motherfucker back, right? Excuse my language. But you need, we know the game is played on the perimeter now. And you ain't even trying to go out there and make no real moves to help Cade Cunningham out. And maybe Cade don't want to take the ball out of his hands. I feel like they could have made a move for Jalen Green with Phoenix. They had the pieces to make that happen. Oh, we don't want to give up our court. Give up the picks then. At some point, you got to pay Ron Holland. You got to pay him. When it come down to it, to play Ron in important minutes in the playoffs, I didn't want to play him. So if you don't play him in the playoffs, are you going to pay Ron in a year or two? Come on. I don't understand it, bro. And then at the trade deadline, they could have gave up something to get CJ McCollum. They could have made a deal for CJ McCollum. They had expiring Tobias Harris contract on the books, bro. They could have made a move for MPJ. They could have made a move for CJ McCollum at the trade deadline. The whole thing is smoke and mirrors with the Pistons, dog. It's smoke and mirrors. They don't want to spend, most of these Detroit teams don't want to spend no money. They want to hide behind the fact, oh yeah, we just want to build with our, they don't want to go for it, bro. The Pistons was in the red zone. The Lions was inside the 5-yard line with a chance to punch the ticket to the Super Bowl. You think they built on that opportunity? Fuck no. Fuck no, they didn't build on those opportunities, bro. They went backwards because they didn't go for it. Look at the Rams. They traded for Stafford, got a Super Bowl, just had a little falling off, made the most of those draft picks they had, right? Lost last year. They prepared for the future, found the quarterback, and still found a way to get what's the old boy name? To get Miles Turner and Trick McDuffie. What the fuck are we talking about? It ain't, well, what are we developing? The East is open for business. What are we developing? The 76ers is riding on a bum Joel Embiid. As long as he's on the roster and they ain't gonna win nothing unless he magically get healthy. The Knicks, okay, cool. They lost Mitchell Robinson, a little bit of their superpowers. They'll still be around. So what are you waiting for? Atlanta to figure it out, or Orlando to finally put it together and catch up to you? What are you fucking waiting for? Cleveland is on the down slope because they probably gonna get LeBron, and they're an older team with James Harden. You know what I'm saying? I think Donovan Mitchell, I see a lot of growth in his game, honestly. But what are you waiting for? The time is now. You're close, especially with how injury prone a lot of these players are. Why don't you go ahead and punch it? Man, nobody gonna get mad if you trade Jalen Duren and you get back Jaylen Brown and the center they got over. Anybody gonna get mad? You went for it. Or you trade Asar Thompson and you end up with Devin Booker, or you end up with another superstar. I don't know what it is. But in general, they're hiding behind, talk about, our priority is our players, and they hide behind because they don't want to spend the money and go for it. Because whether you got Hero, here you had to pay Hero eventually. Whether you got Zach LaVine, you had to pay him. Whether you got MPJ, you had to pay him. Even last year, maybe they like, in the playoffs, this is just our second run in the playoffs. We ahead of the curve. We made it versus the Knicks. We still a little bit of the head of the curve in the Eastern Semi-Conference Finals. But eventually people have championship expectations. Even though you look at the roster and say they didn't get Cade help, they start winning some games next year. People going like, we got championship expectations. So they being cheap. The move was always, and they told you this. It's like in these movies when they show you talk about domestic terrorists or terrorism or things that's gonna happen in the future. They telling y'all, our priority was Jalen Duren and Asar Thompson. The priority was never to get Cade Cunningham a running mate. We giving you all this money, nigga, figure it out. We gonna try to shortchange Asar Thompson because he can't shoot. We gonna shortchange Jalen Duren because it's cheaper than going out there getting Jaylen Brown, getting Devin Booker, getting Kyrie. We gonna pump fake. This is why we didn't trade for nothing at the trade deadline. This is why we didn't try to get McCollum. We don't want to pay nobody. This is why we didn't get Powell. We don't want to pay nobody. If we look around and winning with you guys, Cade, we give you this money. Stafford, we gave you this money. And Dominican Sue Calvin, we ain't putting shit around y'all. Y'all better figure it out. Sell y'all jerseys and get y'all stats. They not serious about winning in Detroit. I'm telling you that. He's not serious. He's not serious about winning in Detroit. The priority should have been like, regardless, hey, we got to get this motherfucker some help. At all cost. And they're going to come back next year without no help. Maybe with DeMar DeRozan, they're going to come back next year and they're going to be like, the Pistons need a little bit of help. If they just get a little bit on the perimeter, they got the pieces. They ain't going to trade for nobody at the deadline. They're going to keep selling y'all hope. This is what Detroit teams do. They're going to keep selling y'all hope. Telling y'all, man, hit the link in the description, join the Patreon. Find me on X, Facebook, Instagram, everything inside the link in the description. And say, find me everywhere, hit the link tree.